back to Lessons Learned. I'm Sherry, and today we have a little quilt show. I've recently gotten back some long-armed quilts that I had made from Mary at Broken Dishes Quilting Company, and her link is in my description box if you would like to use her long-arm services. And I think after you see these wonderful quilts, you will have full confidence in Mary's ability to make your quilt beautiful. So I have 4 quilts for you, and today we're going to start with Shimmer. So I'm going to give you an overall look at the quilt, and then we'll come back and talk about it. So this is Shimmer. It's a pattern by Cluck Cluck Sew. I have several notes here. I don't want to leave anything out. And the fabrics are various designers. I see some Moda, some Riley Blake, some Ruby Star Society, various prints that work well together, although it does have a scrappy look to it. I started this quilt top in October of 2022 at the very first So Yeah retreat that they had. There was a class on it, and I took the class and got started on the block. It's not a perfect quilt. There are some points that don't exactly match up. It is a little bit on the intermediate to advanced side, if you will. For me at least it was, but I learned a lot from it. So that's the good thing about going outside your comfort zone and doing a little bit harder pattern, is you do sharpen some skills that you need to sharpen up on. The backing is a little print that has a lot of Spanish words on it referring to women, and they're inspirational, like preciosa, educada, amable, all positive words in relation to women. And this is Eleanor by Crafty Chica. I believe it is a Riley Blake. Yes, it is a Riley Blake. And then I bound it in just a plain Riley Blake solid. I don't remember the name of it, but it's a very dark purple. And so this one was quilted with a pattern, I believe, called Panasonic, and it's from Urban Elements, and we used a light gray thread on it. So hopefully in the other pictures and in this picture you can see that pointed wave going on there. And this finished at 55.5 by 69, so it's like a large throw size. So now let's go on to our next quilt, and that is the Emerging Stars. Okay, so here is Emerging Stars. This is a pattern by Bethany Reynolds, who is the originator of the stack and whack type of quilting, and you layer fabric in such a way that you get these wonderful star patterns. So every single star in this quilt is different from the next. Let me show you an overall picture of it. Okay, so this turned out way better than I thought it would. It's a whopping 80 by 88. It's a pretty decent sized quilt. As you could see on the bed, it fit pretty well over the edges of the bed. This was from a American Quilter Society class that I took online. It's still available if you want to take the class. It's a $29.95 class, and if you're an American Quilt Society member, you get a little discount off of that. And then I also have a complete series on this quilt without the measurements, of course, on this channel, so you can look in the playlist and find that. But in this quilt I used several different fabrics here, as you can see. 4 main fabrics, 1, 2, 3, 4, yes. The pink is a Ruby Star Society. It's called Sugar, and I believe the color is Berry. And then the yellow outside of the stars is called Jungle Birdie, and that's by Stoff Fabrics. And then the bird fabric that I used was a digital print, and it was called Songbird Serenade by Robin Mead for P&B Textiles. And then also I have a Moda Grunge in here. It's a white that has a little bit of a green tint to it. So it brought out some of the greens that are in the blueprint, and also just kind of tied the whole quilt together. And then I bound it in the bird fabric as well, the blue. And then the backing is, let me see here, Starburst 108 by Color Principle for Henry Glass, and the actual number is 2655W, and it says digital. And the quilting I completely forgot to look up, but it was also, pretty sure it was also an Urban Elements pattern. You can really see it down here in the pink, and hopefully you saw it on the larger picture earlier as well. So 80 by 88. This turned out way better than I thought it would. When you make the actual stars, you make them in halves and then put them together so that you don't have so many of these. They do meet up, but you kind of mitigate the thickness of that with each half. And they ended up laying down pretty well, because sometimes when you have points that meet up like that, it'll kind of bulge out. But this is also a testament to Mary's excellent quilting skills, long arm skills, because this quilt lays completely flat. So any places that I did have a little bit of raise in the bulk of the fabric, she was able to smooth out and get it nice and flat. So now we will go on to the next quilt, which is the Yellowstone. So here is Yellowstone. If you don't know what I mean by Yellowstone, there is a series on Netflix, I believe it is. It's a Western inspired type of program, kind of a mini-series type thing, and it has a famous character, Beth Dutton, on there, and she is wrapped up in this quilt or something like it. So everyone has been trying to, I say everyone, but there are people out there that have tried to mimic that pattern, even writing patterns to be able to sell and make this quilt. So what I did is I just took 2-inch squares out of my red and black and made 9 patches and set them on point. And then setting it on point there meant I needed another fabric in here. So I just kind of tied it together that way, and I was trying to give it the old Western look that it had in the program. So this is 59 by 68 is what it finishes at. I also used, out of all of my red scraps, I also paired those with some black Moda Grunge, and I also bound it in the Moda Grunge. And then this fabric here is called Timber by Sweetwater for Moda, and you can get this in reverse as well. I think I have some in reverse where you have the light and then the taupe color is the leaves on here, but I thought it kind of gave that worn old Western look, so I went ahead and got that for my squares. I also got a backing here. I don't think I originally got this backing for this quilt, but I thought it kind of lent itself to the old West looking style as well. And this is called Farmhouse Quilt Backing by Kim Deal, and it's for Henry Glass, and the pattern is 9685. It's just kind of a toile that has a rich cream in the background. So I thought that went really well with it. Although the cream and the gray do tend to want to clash, it is in keeping with that older quilt feel. So I think it's okay. It has kind of a homespun feel to it. The backing does, so it really does give that cozy, worn feel when you touch it, and also when you look at it. So with this one, we did a diagonal plaid from Urban Elements. It's a little bit on the more modern side, just to kind of give a contrast to this old feel. It's just kind of a diamond shape that is running throughout the quilting there, and we used kind of a medium gray thread for that one. So that is Yellowstone. So now we'll move on to our final quilt, and that is Totally Tulips. So here we have Totally Tulips, and I'll let you go ahead and look at a bigger view of that on the bed. This finishes out at 90 by 90, so it is a big one, and it fit really nice on the bed. And my bed here is a queen size, so if that gives you some perspective on these quilts as far as size goes. This was done with a pattern called Totally Tulips by Missouri Star Quilt Company. And I used my collection of K-Facet fabrics for this one. It's all different lines of K-Facet that I had at the time. And I also finished it out with a large border of K-fabric. And also I used in the background, it is a Tula Pink solid. So that kind of tied everything together. And then my little gray stems was just a solid from my stash. So I didn't really want the stems to be any sort of focus, so I did those in gray and just let the facet fabrics speak for themselves. And then as you can see on the quilting, hopefully you were able to see that, it is called Flirty Butterflies from Urban Elements, and we did this one in a yellow thread in keeping with the warmer colors that was in this one. And then let's see, the backing is a Wyndham 108 Whistler Studios, and it's number 51 464D if you're looking for that. So this was just a conglomeration of all the colors, and I thought it went well with the front, and a little bit more busy in contrast with the simplicity of the tulips on the front. So this was fun to make, very fun to make. I think I mostly used a layer cake and some yardage of green for the leaves. And like I said, the border that I was able to pick up from a quilt shop in Louisville went really well to finish it off. And then I used another Cafe hot pink with an orange dot for the binding, and that kind of tied it all together as well. So that is it for this quilt show. Hopefully the next quilt show that I have for you will be some things that I have managed to learn to do on my own long arm. And check out Mary at Broken Dishes Quilting Company. If you need long arm services, she is open for business, and she has a discount code for you if you need to get your quilts quilted up. So it's worth doing, and it's worth the investment that you've already put into your quilt to give it a nice finish with the professional quilting, and have a finished quilt that always feels really good. I know I feel really really good that I have these 4 quilts to show you as completely finished items. On our Finish It Friday episodes, we get to see quilt tops a lot of times from me, or quilt blocks, but not too many finished quilts. So this feels really good, and hopefully going forward I can get more of those quilted up on my own long arm. I will still use Mary for my larger quilts. I have a 10-foot frame, so if I have anything that will not fit on there, I will be sending it to her. So check her out, and thank you for watching this little quilt show. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me down below which was your favorite quilt out of these 4. All right, have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Bye.